And you wonder why so many people, especially the younger generation, the millennials, or those that are just now trying to come to terms and trying to understand, what's government and all this stuff, right? What is central planning? What is this whole concept? But as you can see, those in the establishment media, some more than others, of course. But here we go. The Toronto Star headline for this particular article: don't know how to do your taxes? Ask this 8-year-old. 8-year-old, yeah, they said 8-year-old. I mean, it's bad enough when adults delve into this bullshit, this just wasted time, really. But when they delve into this arguing and bickering back and forth of, which political deity or master, which side of the political spectrum that should come from, and how they, the conformed masses, the ones that believe in, whether it's a conservative deity or a liberal deity, right? They're all, you see it constantly played out all the time on the political stage and from propagandists in the media, political pundits. But to bring small children into the equation, you've lost the argument. You've lost the battle for the people's minds when you have to go to such extremes where you'll use small children, an 8-year-old little girl, to propagate your message that theft, that, indentured servitude to the political classes, or create, in a sense, an atmosphere of legitimacy of that theft. I mean, how, to me, that's just so despicable. I mean, can we not at least just as adults, hammer out the truth? As adults, you status, go ahead, give the best argument you got. And people like myself, libertarians, anarchists and voluntarists, people with a critical mind that don't believe in forced subjugation, central planning, and theft as a proper way of living amongst each other and getting what we want, right? As a means to an end, right? That's the difference, really. What it comes down to is morality versus immorality. But the people that choose immorality and want to keep that religion of statism alive, they'll go to the extreme of creating articles in a newspaper such as the Toronto Star to propagate that message. I don't know how they can sleep at night, to be honest with you, but apparently, think about it, sociopaths, and we know, look at my prior video, the top 10 occupations for sociopaths or psychopaths. Watch it. It was a study that was put out, and you'll see that one of the top 10 occupations of sociopaths are people in news and media and publishing. So I guess it's just the way their brain functions, right? Anyways, precious 8-year-old is giving university students crash courses on how to fill out their tax returns without a calculator or do-it-yourself software. So, think about it already right there. What a dig, what an insult. So if you, university just mean, a university, today's university is just, when you come out of there, your paperwork, basically, that diploma, it just says that I'm the best statist that money can buy. That's all. I've been fully indoctrinated into the religion of statism. You come out on the other side as what? I don't know, bishop, cardinal, whatever, right? Your status moves up. But, you're still all part of the same cult. So, and the fact that cult is built on the premise of legitimizing theft and oppression and using force and violence as a means to an end. So no matter how high up the pole or how high up the ladder you get, you're still functioning in a really, really, really fucked up environment. And it's nothing to be proud of. But anyways, let's go on and read this article. by Jeffrey. I love, that's another thing, is I purposely make sure that I mention whoever writes a particular article. So yes, it was the Star, but Jeffrey Vendeville, Vendeville, which is a staff reporter. I want to point out who wrote this article, so those of you who know this person in real life, let me explain to you what he's trying to say, in case you're not aware. So then you'll know what this guy's really all about. Carly Weinreb has no income other than a $5 weekly allowance, but she already knows all about taxes. I mean, think about that on its own. Just think, that's just the first, sentences or so. I mean, think about it. What kind of a parent makes it a point to teach their child of 8 years old? I mean, think about what's going through your mind at 8 years old. The only thing that should matter to you at 8 years old should be, like growing experiences and that youthful zest and zeal, that excitement for life and all things that are new. But these parents feel, I guess, that part of that educational process should start very young in teaching their child about, if the government doesn't steal enough from you, or if there's some methodology they use where they haven't had the ability to steal enough from you, and at the end of the course of the year, you should, wait, damn it, I should give my central authority even more money because they didn't steal enough from me. I feel obliged that I've got to fill out the paperwork necessary so that I can give them even more of my productive wealth. I don't. These articles are tough. These articles are really, really fucking tough to deal with. It's just, I don't know what goes on in their mind. It's hard to try to. Well, that's the part that I have. Well, this is where my difficulty always arises, which is why I don't know why. I mean, but to stay relevant, I have to feel compelled that I always have to keep making videos and deal with all these things. But it's like, I so much prefer to deal with the big picture, because delving into these things, it's like, I don't know. But anyways, I got to do it because I feel like I have to help educate people, which I shouldn't have to. This should be so fucking common sense. But I recognize I live in the world today that it's not common sense. I guess I have to, because most people don't have any common sense anymore. But yes, you should not be teaching your kids at the age of 8 to believe in fucking legitimized theft and oppression. I mean, what the fuck? Who teaches their kids about fucking taxes? Anyways, in a presentation at the University of Toronto, Scarborough, I mean, holy fuck, man. Wow. Anyways, which was uploaded to YouTube by her father, she used a whiteboard and marker to explain to a class of more than a dozen students how much people are taxed in different income brackets. Her father, Lorne, an accountant, watched from the wings and sometimes chimed in. Nadie Shamsi, a fourth-year economics and French student, told the Star she was surprised to meet an 8-year-old so enthusiastic about taxes. Well, fuck, I guess you would be, right? It's interesting because as a 21-year-old, I'm still starting to understand things that she has already grasped so well, she said. Linda Wang, a first-year York University business major, said she went to Carly's lecture out of curiosity after hearing an 8-year-old would be teaching. I'm so jealous that her knowledge of tax policy exceeds mine, she said. Holy fuck, man. Carly has another 1-hour workshop scheduled at the University of Western Ontario on March 16th. She learned to count almost as soon as she could talk when she was less than 2 years old by counting the stairs in their house in North York, her father said. Next, he and her mother, Melanie Borst, a grade 1 and grade 2 teacher, taught her skip counting 2s, 3s, and 4s. By about 4, Carly could multiply and divide, her father said. Carly's a straight A student in math and once won a bronze medal in a GTA math contest. The key to teaching Carly math was to use real situations like apples and oranges rather than abstracts, Lawrence said. Whenever they go shopping, he asks her to calculate the tax on any toy she wants. Fuck. Her little sister, Sage, 6, is following in her footsteps and can already fill out 3/4 of a tax return, Lawrence said. Carly don't know yet if she wants to grow up to be an accountant like her father or teacher like her mother, but wants to do something with math, she said in a phone interview. In the context of widespread financial illiteracy, it's refreshing to see a youngster so knowledgeable about taxes, said Kim Moody, a tax specialist with Moody's Gartner Tax Law LLP in Calgary. Carly's presentations are very advanced for her age, he notes. I've got 4 sons myself, including a 20-year-old, and there's no way they'd be able to do something like what she does, he said. Oh, who takes such pride in their child being the best at being indoctrinated into the religion of statism? I mean, that's like, it's no different than if your child, to me, if you used rape instead, right? That she understands that rape is good for you. And she wants to make rape or make it men available or herself available to be raped to men even earlier because she's so theft and rape. I mean, they're both immoral acts. Why would you want to teach your fucking kids to put their mindset where they're so vulnerable that they don't even look at the deeds, whether it's theft or rape, as evil, but they not only embrace them, but they promote them? Wow. Like, fuck it. Think about that for a second. Think about it. I mean, what the power of indoctrination. Wow. I mean, I always knew growing up because I come from a religious family and I had lots of status around me. So I knew the power of indoctrination when it's hammered into people's heads from early age. I knew because they tried it with me. And it was a hard battle to fight that stuff, let me tell you. But I don't know. When you get to be an adult, when you get older like myself and you see this stuff happening, I mean, my heart, my empathy, I feel terrible for this poor girl. She's growing up in an atmosphere, and I'm sure all those around her are probably telling her the same shit. That's what happens, though, because think about it. Everyone likes to surround themselves with other like-minded people, for the most part. That's how they get along. So, status now, this girl and all the people around her are always going to be pounding that same narrative into her head. So she's going to grow up. I mean, maybe as she gets older, she'll have a strong critical mind and reject all that shit and realize that, oh my God, why did you guys do that to me? Why did my parents, why did all those people, why did you teach me to be a good little conformist or slave? Hopefully that's what happens. Unfortunately, for the most part, a lot of people, it won't. They will continue on into their adult years believing in this being a legitimate subject to the ruling classes. So very sad. It's a Canadian libertarian, and I love liberty.